I'm Ross Paterson, Director of Derek Prince Ministries Outreach to China.
Ross, can you share with us through a story how Derek's teaching is impacting lives in China?
Well, I'll give you two stories. Number one is the past. I was very recently with a brother inside China who's been involved with us. He's on our team, Chinese of course, and he shared how in the 1980s, because we were early on the block supplying Derek's material for China, how house churches, and that's millions of believers, had used those materials to train the next generation. Today, again on that same trip, I was in one area of China where someone who just came to me 6 months ago lives up there, works up there, and has distributed 75,000, printed and distributed 75,000 copies of 3 of Derek's books. And for the first time, we've been able to get them into the official church through a contact she's made, because they have to have a kind of license. And one particular brother invented a license so that we could get them not just to the house church believers, but to other hungry believers.
Great. Looking forward to 2015, what is perhaps the sort of biggest ministry opportunity, the most exciting thing that you see happening in China?
Well, I think that what we're facing is a huge change in the way China is. And this is exciting because China's gone. I met with 2 people, one in the south of China, one in Beijing, who said, we use our 4G cell phones to watch Derek's material. Others would be using a new machine which they call Bofangqi, which plays MP3 recordings of Derek's material in Chinese to believers, in other words 1 to 20 or 30 or 40. So again, a Singapore brother funded an app with all of Derek's materials. That's about 700 programs in Chinese, which you can get on iPhone or you can get on Android. And so along with what was the traditional route, which we still believe in, which is books and other materials like that, we've got these new technologies that are reaching millions of believers. 700 million people in China go on the internet, so we want to be there to greet them.
Great. Can you share with us a couple of prayer requests? How can supporters around the world pray more effectively for DPM's outreach in China?
I think the first one would be to go back to the app. Some of us may know that Google and China have an argument. So what's called Google Play Store, which is where you and I would get the app outside of China, doesn't exist in China. And we've had some real battles getting it generally released. We're almost there now, but with, again, something like probably 300 million cell phones, with iPhones selling like hotcakes, with Android machines, we want those available materials, that app, to go so that folk can listen to Derek's material. You can also download PDFs of all the books. So we want to reach into China's emerging market of middle-class, reasonably rich people. We want to serve them with Derek's material. The second would be, as it were, the more traditional routes, which is books. In the last 3 months, 3 different folk have come online. Let me just give you one example. One is a pastor in the southeast of China, and he'll come to me straight and say, please, can I print 50,000 copies of the Foundation Series, or the Self-Study Bible Course, or Life-Giving Spiritual Power. So it's to connect with the right people that we know are distributing widely, and if I'm a little bit un-British, to see the funds come in that we need for that. Frankly, the opportunity to distribute is way beyond the resources that we have at the moment, wonderful though those are. We've been doing this for 30 years, or I have now, serving Derek Prince Ministries in China, and it's a self-evident statement that we can only do it because you pray and because you give. We're the kind of middleman, and we really want to say thank you so much for over all those years standing with us. Even though in a sense we say the same message, you do respond again and again, and on behalf of millions of Chinese believers, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for praying and forgiving.